Welcome back to Tyranny. I guess only one place left to go. Off to the Bastard City to presumably begin the end game.
Anything for Alpha to kill in shadow.
Oh, we got a gathering. Where's Blood and Mark? He's usually here. He's probably hiding from me, because he knows I'm out for his blood. Oh, we got some conversations. Let's do it. Kills in shadow watches you, unblinking, black pupils dilating wide across her crimson eyes. She parts her lips as she scents the air.
Alpha smells good. Makes Beast Woman want to hunt. Kill. Beast Woman is happy. Likes when Fatebinder wins. Likes that Fatebinder slaughtered Alpha of Scarlet Chorus without mercy. Was vicious, cunning, Archon with many voices. Was Alpha of biggest pack. Means Alpha of Kills in Shadow is bigger, better, strongest. Will always win.
I like the way you think, Kills in Shadow.
Fatebinder wants Beast Woman? Good, yep. And many more than 5. Went to prowl length of old walls during dark of nightfall. Killed many Bane, but could not kill all. Bane are strong, tough hunt even for beast women. Had to run, flee.
How about you, Verse? Fatebinder. I never thought that anyone could get the jump on the voices of the rat. He outlasted most of his enemies and ate others. He was this great, bottomless thing. I just assumed that he would be around forever. Now he's dead. It's hard to believe, really. I'm happy. But he also gave me this life, this name. I hated him. But he was incredible. An artist. What I'm trying to say here is that I'm impressed. You've exceeded my low expectations. I'm surprised there are any disfavored left here. Fatebinder, I had assumed you would ignore my court summons as you have in the past, but it would appear that only the threat of criminal punishment spurs you into action. Tunon gestures with his staff to the rest of the court audience. Let us proceed, Fatebinder. This could very well be the defining hour of the conquest. Well, I didn't come before because those disfavored dickheads attacked my spire and called me crazy, but I felt that was a more pressing need. And after I launched that edict and Kairos made the decree, well, the most pressing thing to do then was to finish things up in the tiers. But I'm gonna, for now, play along and be nice. Before I kill him, that is.
I first want to make it clear why we've assembled today. After the collapse of Vendrian's Well and the start of the Civil War, it became clear to me that there must have been some great fault on the part of the Archons.
And now they're both dead.
We come together to root out the source of our troubles, and determine which of the Archons has sowed more chaos during the war.
Does it matter? They're both dead. I can point to the culprit and spare us the discussion. Blood Mulch aims the tip of a crude dagger at your heart. This is the scum who brought down the voices. I hope it isn't your intention to arm yourself before a court of peaceful legal representatives, Commander, unless to offer amusement as Bled and Mark flays you for our delight. Callio offers an encouraging smile. He squints at Callio and slowly returns his weapon to its sheath. No, let him attack. Let him attack. Watch what happens. Tunan turns to aim what you can only assume is a stern look. He refocuses back onto you with cool stoicism.
Much has happened since I dispatched you on that mission.
It has indeed, Tunan. Raven Ash and the voices of Narat, the appointed general of this war, are both dead. You were instructed with bringing justice to the unlawful, but you have clearly taken the law into your own hands. Tunan hovers in thoughtful, accusatory silence. Ash was unstable. I needed to put him down. Liar! Albatronis readies to say more, but a glance from Tunan silences her.
You would have been better served bringing charges and evidence against him. Regrettably for us all, that opportunity is now closed.
His army marched against my spire. What did you think I was gonna do? Just sit by, let him idly go over and file some fucking paperwork. You march against my spire, I'm gonna kill you.
The court has a serious problem to address. Your conduct throughout this campaign has come into question, and you will answer for your actions.
Sure. You have made quite a name for yourself, Fatebinder. Stories of your deeds have spread throughout the tiers, and all of them have reached this court. Some actions have consequences. We will see what your actions have wrought.
The court has its own charges to present, and invites you to answer for yourself.
I expected as much. Bring on your charges.
The trial begins now. I recommend that you treat these moments with deserving gravity, as they might be your last. Don't attempt to lie or evade answers. I will judge you in the objective eyes of our Overlord. Is that understood?
I'm still going to continue to play along. Yes, Your Honor.
At least your civility remains intact. You are on trial for transgressing on the Overlord's authority, breaking the laws of the Empire, bringing mayhem to an otherwise orderly conquest, and meddling in concerns that fell beyond your station. Our directive to bring Kairos' peace to the tiers has suffered, and you will answer for the part you played.
Orderly? There was nothing orderly about what was going on in the tiers, and you know it. If you don't mind, Adjudicator, we are on familiar terms with the Fatebinder here. Should any inconsistencies require our input, we will add our voices as testimony. She nods to Rogalus, then turns to you with an unreadable expression.
The court has inquiries into your conduct.
Go right ahead.
I first call your travel companions to speak on your behalf as witnesses to your character or accomplices to your crimes. Who will speak on behalf of the Fatebinder? Scarlet Fury, you who sacrificed your old life for this one. Step forward.
Me? As if the likes of me has any business speaking in a grand hall before the Archon. Why, I've murdered enough folk to stack their bodies up to the podium 10 times over. Your Honor. The Fatebinder and I get along like a couple of cats. We scratch here and there, but there's respect to be had. Sometimes I think we agree on too much, but can't fight everyone. I suppose I've had worse bosses, and I suppose I've had better friends. But this one's something special. I've killed for her, and I'd do it again.
Will anyone else speak on the Fatebinder's behalf? Tidecaster, let yourself be known to the court.
The court wishes my testimony. Well then, I am Ebb of the School of Tides, and this room echoes a lot. It's very intimidating. I don't know what passes for glowing praise in this particular court, but the Archon gets my reluctant but uncoerced vote of confidence.
Will anyone else speak on the Fatebinder's behalf? Let the Beast Woman come forward and offer testimony. I would hear her speak.
Archon barks orders at Beast Woman. Thinks kills in shadow will obey.
She cocks her head to one side and stares at the Archon for a long moment, her lips twisted with barely contained violence. Then, with a peeved huff, she looks forward.
Beast Woman follows only toughest, most vicious alpha.
She puffs out her bared chest, proud and flaunting.
Alpha to kills in shadow has slain and rip-slaughtered ruthlessly, leaving trail of prize corpses through all of Tyr's lands. His best fighter can make even ironclads flee, yelping in fear. Will not find better predator elsewhere.
Will anyone else speak on the Fatebinder's behalf?
Evidently not. The time has come for the Fatebinder to offer her testimony. You sent the Forge-bound Master to the Voices of Narat, where Kairos only knows what awful fate she suffered. She was under my protection. Her craft could be replicated in time. The confidence of the Archon could not. You proposed that it was a sacrifice for the good of the campaign. Between the conquest of the rebellion, we faced losses by the thousands already. If the death of one smith could prevent even worse devastation, then I'll allow it. You enter the Old Walls, a clear violation of Kairos' law. How do you answer for this perversion of justice? Do you think yourself above the law? Circumstances took me there, Your Honor, not greed. Are circumstances the best defense you can muster? Because no one in this court has allowed circumstances to lead us to unlawful conduct. Rogalus crosses his arms. Tunon weighs the matter while studying you in silence. Lethian's Crossing is under my protection, and yet you stole the Magebane helm. Without the arcane protection that I commissioned from the Forge-bound, the city is laid before the Bane like an offering. Why did you steal it? To be fair, a Fatebinder is tasked with using the tools at their disposal to resolve vital problems, and the Magebane is nothing if not a tool. Perhaps Denya would have been better served crafting a statue, but I will allow the defendant to explain. I couldn't allow the Bane to impede my efforts to restore order. The helmet will be returned. You speak with reason rather than greed. I don't know why I trust this testimony, but I sense no falsehood. Very well.
I have one final question, Fatebinder. You were brought to this campaign to adjudicate the disagreements between the two armies. After your arrival, matters quickly escalated into a civil war. Did you knowingly join the conquest of the Tyrs to sow discord in your wake, or were you merely a victim of circumstance?
I recognized the Archon's corruption from the start. It was only a matter of time before they turned on each other, and I was prepared for that eventuality.
If you anticipated a failure on this scale, you should have informed me, or else worked to avoid it rather than pit combatants against each other.
Truly, the wisdom of the court knows no bounds, Your Honor. Rogulis turns to you with an imperious look.
I am finished with my line of questioning. Have you any closing remarks for the court?
Kairos' piece is a lie. Yeah, I think it's time to come out. Now. No holding back. Kairos' piece is a lie. The Overlord hoards dominion because we are ignorant to alternatives. The better Overlord stands before you, ready to define justice as she sees fit.
Were it anyone else standing in your place, I would condemn them as a traitor. I cannot deny that you have challenged many of the beliefs I once held to be unshakable. After weighing the charges, this court finds you innocent. Against all reason or expectation, I find you innocent. Your testimony was sufficient to justify your deeds, your self-appointed authority, and your undermining of Kairos' law. I can hardly believe it myself.
Tunon raises a trembling hand to his mask. Educator, are you unwell? Rogulis takes a cautious step. Leave him. I want to see how this plays out. Callio leans forward with interest. Is this Bled Mark's work? I bet this is Bled Mark's work.
Archon, your presentation in the court today has shaken many of my core beliefs. Things I held sacred under Kairos' law are now uncertain.
He looks at his gavel with a sense of bewilderment.
I once thought that Kairos was the sole overlord. The notion of rising to her echelon of power and influence wasn't a concept that existed for me, for anyone. You have proven her wrong. What's more, you understand justice and law better than she ever did. Better than even.
Upon his mask, the corners of his eyes crinkle as if in agony.
I am willing to accept you as my new sovereign.
Ah, smart.
If you'll have me.
I accept. Together we will rewrite law and lay the groundwork for a new empire.
My gavel and my justice are yours. I will execute your laws as you draft them, show mercy as you see fit, and bring to ruin all who would reject you.
Oh, I like this. See, this Tunon guy, he knows what's up. And there's Bled Mark. Silently, Bled Mark seeps from the shadows. He glides forward, palming two black-bladed daggers as his eyes dart between you and Tunon.
Adjudicator, kid.
He greets the both of you with a curt nod before stating his claim.
Allow this blade to cut to the point. I have an objection, or two.
He twirls both daggers, fingers moving deftly in and out of shadow, the movement nearly hypnotic and wholly blurred, and all the while, his brightly burning eyes bore into yours. I'm not some kid. I'm an Archon now. You do understand who you're messing with, right? He smiles, wide and dangerously, teeth gleaming in the darkness.
Archon of Shadows has come, thinking to kill Alpha to Beast Woman. But human who hides in darkness will not so easily survive against Shadow Hunter.
It's true. He flicks his gaze to the Beast Woman, a creature born from darkness, a ruthless apex killer with an affinity for shadows, much like himself. And though he says nothing, you can sense jaw clenching as he weighs his odds against you and this predator who can see through his strikes, who can pierce even his shadowed self.
Look, it's not like I have a grudge against you. I just can't let you live on Kairos' orders. I'm sure you understand.
I can tell you've been waiting for this. She told you this personally, did she?
Kairos has given me free reign of action to protect the Overlord's interests. The semantics are of little concern to her, though I admit they will greatly affect you.
It would appear the court headsman is determined to make his stand. Under normal circumstances, I would curb this behavior with a swift execution. However, we have long since abandoned normalcy. There will be a trial by combat then. Bledenmark's claim against your own. Justice will win out, and the will of the true Overlord will be evident for the living to witness. You may begin when ready, Archon.
In that case, I'm happy to settle this with bloodshed. Without further word of warning, the Archon of Shadows dissipates into darkness. The lights in the room flicker as dim as he surges forward in attack.
Your trial begins anew, Archon. Prepare to defend your title, your innocence, and your very life.
Now Shadow hunts Shadow, but Beast Woman's claws can rend even darkness, can make shadows bleed and howl. We'll kill, maim, slaughter. We'll rip, maul, and devour Archon of Darkness for Alpha.
Heads up!
Alright.
You got company.
Perfect.
Not a problem, boss. I'll tear your skeleton out by your ass!
Oh, that can't be good.
And he's dead. Golden, glowering eyes wide with surprise, the Archon tumbles to the ground, coughing blood as dark as the shadows that billow and ebb around him. He clutches at his shattered ribs and grins.
Look at you. The surprise of a lifetime.
He gasps, drowning as his lungs fill with blood. The light in his eyes dims as his pupils seek blackness, expanding to fill the whole of his eyes. A look of meaning passes between you, his fingers digging into the ground.
Don't die too easily. Won't look good for me. This brightness is blinding.
Master, if you'll join me upstairs, I will pledge fealty to you in the lawful manner.
Very good to know. Let's see what Bledenmark left for me. Some gloves. 10% to all damage taken. Alright. Kind of like my Alchemist class. Shift into a shadow version of yourself. While in this form, deal bonus arcane damage with each attack and gain bonus damage reduction. These effects scale with Binding of Shadows Renown. This bracer, once worn by Bled and Mark, is made of an unfamiliar substance, part velvet, soft darkness, and part hardened insect chitin. It is said that the darkness is more oppressive when an Archon of Shadows walks the face of Terratus. The magic stemming from his power draws on the substance of shadows with an air of welcome and invitation, treating the dark less as something more than an arcane force. As such, a bracer that allows the wearer to embody their darker self has overtones of danger and risk. Just looking at it too closely causes your vision to swim and send a wave of nausea rolling through your gut. Let's see. Binders, I thank you for your testimony. It is time for me to speak with Tunon.
Archon, change has come to the Tears, and in time it will reach the Empire itself. You are the agent of that change, and even I could not have predicted what impossible heights you would reach. The time has come to take up the gavel and usher in a new age of structure and law to the Tears. You will henceforth define justice for the rest of us. I will follow your lead and endeavor to follow your design.
Your loyalty and confidence are appreciated.
As the ruling Archon of the Tears, I submit to your authority and thank you for bringing order out of chaos. Go and represent the strength of law. Be the example the Tears require, the force that keeps them together, and the hope for their future under one rule. Let your justice know no mercy but that which you impose. Civilization itself will bend according to your design. Never forget this.
I can be merciful, but only to those that treat fairly with me. I will give mercy to those that deserve mercy. But if you break any bond that you have made with me, know that this will end in death.
I am grateful to stand in your loyal service, Archon, but there is a shadow over these proceedings.
Tunon hesitates as he regards you, suddenly fearful.
Though you have proven yourself greater than the other Archons, Kairos is not satisfied. She sends a legion of expert soldiers marching on the Tears as we speak, their war songs calling for your death.
a distraction or a reprisal.
Striking at Kairos first would send a powerful message. You have her interest. Now grab her attention. Though it sets a dangerous precedent, it may be your only recourse.
An edict proclaimed on the Northern Empire should do the trick.
Yes. Destruction on that scale might serve your purpose. The North will tremble under your forceful hand. Return to the mountain spire and see your will given shape and consequence. Show Kairos the face of true power.
Alright, time to put the Eye of Sauron into use. The waves of energy radiating from the spire draw you forward, pressing your body and mind to its eager embrace. At the center of this tide, the resonator stands ready to broadcast your voice, echoing your commandments to the farthest reaches of the Tears and beyond. From here, the highest point in all the peninsula, you could, with the sum total of your efforts, project your will far north, past the edge of the Tears, and proclaim your edict as far as the lands of the Northern Empire. Any requests? Just because you can rain fire and ash on them, doesn't mean you have to, right? I hate to say this, but you don't want to. Yes, I'm saying this, rule an empty wasteland, do you? That's a good point. Alpha should bite at foes with fire and blood, venom and darkness. Want to watch fleeing humans lit as flares and shadows. Want to listen to death yowls consumed by crackling flames. Can you turn everyone inside out? Or make them piss rings? Damn it, I can't decide. You figure it out. I'll just be in the way. This probably amounts to a declaration of war against the Overlord. Ready. Back at the Spire, everyone's favorite destination for pissing off Kairos. This has been a long time coming, Fate Binder. I'm ready, but I hope you're prepared for whatever's ahead. I knew we'd make our stand at Vendrian's Well. I just imagined we'd all die miserable. Who would have predicted the Archon of the Tears would save us? Now, don't you have a gratuitous display of magic to show the Overlord? I'm wet with anticipation. Thought Kairos was the most clever hunter, but now human Prima has challenged Alpha to kills in shadow, has proved deadly predator to strike. Purple lips peeled back, she grinds her fangs together. This will be an opening strike. Perhaps the Tears will conquer the Northern Empire. If this ends with the Overlord's ribcage fashioned in an elaborate war staff, I'm with you on that. The people of the Tears will never be left alone by the other Archons. The moment we stop fighting is the moment we lose what we've earned thus far. Well, I've already cast an Edict of Fire, so I might as well cast an Edict of Stone. Your Edict of Stone shakes the ground under the northern capital, a quake that builds in such ferocity that massive sinkholes open under the bustling city, swallowing whole districts. As citizens flee in terror, mages attempt to help, but find their arcane powers dampened to the point of uselessness, even as they cleave to falling structures or run from widening fissures. All wonder why Kairos offers no deliverance. As chaos ensued in the Northern Kingdom, the armies marching on the tiers received an unprecedented order. The armies were to fall back to the capital and ensure the safety of its people from the edict. For the first time in Kairos' great conquest, the armies retreated. Soon questions would be asked in a hushed breath across the lands about what new and terrible power had emerged that could force the hand of the Overlord. You fulfilled Kairos' decree, and all the tiers is now ruled by a single Archon. Your former rivals had either submitted to you or perished, bringing the civil war to a close. In their pride, the disfavored never imagined themselves beaten, especially when their opponents appeared so disorganized. The last remnants of the Legion dispersed, their general destroyed, their honor broken beyond mending. The scorn that follows their humbled ranks haunts them even in the depths of obscurity. The Scarlet Chorus, true to form, were quick to change allegiance once the voices of the rat died. They pledged their devotion to you, hoping to gain your favor. In the months following your victory, emissaries of the surviving gang bosses present offerings and totems of fealty, but without a devoted taskmaster to keep them in line, their flimsy power structure collapses, reducing the Scarlet Chorus to a whisper of its former strength. Under your guidance, those who resisted the conquest and sowed discontent are vanquished, their rebellion brought to a decisive end. Any lingering questions of who is the true leader of the tiers is answered by your impact on the reconstructed nation. Word of your success spreads beyond the tiers as well. Even the most distant corners of the Empire whisper of the Fateminder who rose to become an Archon, and an Archon whose intervention shattered the conquest, marking way for a new future in the devastated nation. While you manage to unite the tiers under a single banner through conquest, losing the support of the Overlord's armies makes the work maintaining this order all the more difficult. Loyalties weaken and slip, but you make a point of taking a personal hand in the country's new governance. After time and struggle, the tiersmen begin to see themselves as citizens of a unified land. With the Edict of Stone dispelled, the earth settles around the stone seat, ushering a new age of verdant growth and prosperity. The country may never resemble the glorious realm of Azure, but with a new life, many new things become possible. The memory of Cairn as a great force of destruction remains as a monument of inert rock. Most agree that the world is better off without the Archon of Stone as the people of Azure begin to slowly reclaim the land that was once torn asunder by his power. Didn't I just read this? The Edict of Stone dispelled, you ensure that humans will once again populate the former realm of Azure. No, my bad. The Stone Stalker tribe is gradually pushed out of their new territory, and those who don't resist are enslaved, put to work rebuilding new human settlements. I would have rather given some land back to the Stone Stalkers. I wish I could have done that. Maybe if I hadn't sent 100 Blood to Voices in the Rat, maybe I could have had the ending where they got their land back. The death of Radix is a huge blow to the disfavored. Without the support of the Mage Guild, the Legion finds itself outclassed for the first time and suffers on the battlefield. The Edict of Storms never stops its relentless assault on the ruins of mighty Stalwart. Sentinel's stand falls further into disrepair, the wind wall separating it from any would-be conquerors. The fate of those inside the fortress still remain a mystery. You played the Censor's game and emerged victorious, retrieving the silent archive from the Vellum Citadel. When asked to turn it over, you decided it was better off in your possession. Instead, you sent the Censor to Cacophony as a gift to the voices of Narat. By taking the silent archive from its pedestal and disrupting the preservation spell holding the Vellum Citadel in stasis, you caused the collapse of the single largest repository of knowledge in Terratus. The world may never know the true extent of the loss, but I have all that knowledge in the silent archive. The sages are all but wiped out from the tiers. What remains of their hoarded knowledge is vulnerable, as likely to be misused as destroyed. The damage done to the intellectual core of the region is likely beyond reversal. Though small groups of would-be scholars gain influence from time to time, the setback is ultimately too vast to overcome. By withholding the Magebane helm from Lethian's Crossing, you sabotage the city's protection against the Bane, haunting its borders from inside the old walls. Sensing the vulnerability in its defenses, an unstoppable wave of Bane invaded Lethian's Crossing, wreaking havoc and causing a catastrophic loss of life. The few ragged survivors abandoned the city to the Scourges, never to return. Sending the Forgebound Master to the voices of Narat strikes heavy a blow to the Forgebound, and its very art of ironsmithing suffers terrible setbacks. It takes many years to recover or relearn the delicate subtlety of crafting fine weapons and arms. The Forgebound continue to create weapons, but their quality is suspect. By enacting an edict on Vendrian's Well, you announced your power to the world and showed Kairos' forces what you were capable of. When you defeated their leader and scattered the army before you, it sent a message to Kairos. A new Archon is born. While the edict dissipated, its effect will always be felt as the first true threat to Kairos' rule. The death of Graven Ash means the end of the disfavored. Without the comfort and support of the great general, what remains of the Legion sinks into hopelessness. The Archon's seat is left vacant, and whether or not it can be occupied again is a heated topic. Far from his place of final rest, the Northern Empire mourns its fallen son. Killing the voices of Narat spread the joy of bloody vengeance across the continent. Celebrated as the death of history's greatest parasite, the occasion is marked by all who suffered under the oppression of the Scarlet Chorus, even in victory. One thought nags at you. Though you witnessed his death, you can't help but wonder if the voices of Narat is done with you. Tunon the Educator continues to dispense justice from his seat in the Bastard City. He follows the laws you craft to the letter, advising on any of the meticulous changes you lack the time or patience to draft. Without his aid, the task of keeping order in the tiers would be nigh impossible. The death of Blood and Mark deprived the world of a most capable murderer. One less bedtime story to scare children is no significant loss, though you can't help but glance at the dark corners of every room and feel it as if something's watching you. Blood and Mark will always cast a shadow on your life. The death of Graven Ash left bare the shadow of his former self. He follows you for a time, as much out of habit as reflex. All agree that there is nothing of him left under the iron shell. He departs your company without a word, assuming a position at a crossroads where he allows himself to rust, as solid as any statue. Verse finds herself adrift in the relative peace that follows your conquest. She returns to the field and seeks out young women from rural communities, imparting her fighting skills to only the most passionate. Over the course of many apprentices, she follows the voices of Narat's example and forms a personal army, the Callous Sisterhood. Hers proves to be a strict leader, and you hire her services often, confident that she'll take any assignment where there's blood to be spilled. Lantry shifts focus from writing about your accomplishments and spends more time with your spires, contemplating their mystery and unraveling their secrets. The research he uncovers about your stronghold proves invaluable. Some days you feel as if there are few secrets the old librarian has not already learned. With quiet satisfaction, Lantry persists in working, his wandering days behind him. Ebb remains in your company, where she seeks out promising recruits among your supporters. After recognizing some obvious talent, she takes on a team of apprentices in a new school of would-be typecasters. Though she often jokes that the school is bound to fail with her at the helm, her students think otherwise, as do many dozen of hopefuls who would come begging for her tutelage. Kills in Shadow shows little interest in cleaning up the tears after your victory. Instead, she takes it upon herself to hunt down every disfavored soldier in the country. You hear frequent word of maulings and disappearances among Kyros's ranks, perpetuated by a beast of legendary ferocity. Though you could no doubt track down your wayward companion, you let her continue the bloody work out of equal parts respect and fear. Siren, the Archon of Song, never lent her voices to your cause. After spending time in Lethian's Crossing, gathering followers, she disappears from the tiers before your personal conquest was done. Stories reach your ears occasionally, telling of a young woman with a hypnotic voice, and you wonder what marvels you could have accomplished with her in your charge. Though you once professed loyalty to Kairos, popular belief holds that the world cannot support two overlords, and you now represent a threat to the established order. This leaves your future in question, with but one certainty. When Kairos retaliates, you will be ready. From your perch atop the ancient spire, you can see hints of the Northern Empire just beyond the mountains. At your command, the horns shout a triumphant cry across the valley, heralding the end of the once-long campaign and the beginning of another. Alright, that is the end. Thank you for watching my playthrough of Tyranny. I enjoyed the game a lot. I mean, it's not perfect, obviously, by any stretch. Some negatives. Personally, I thought the spire management part of the game was kinda unnecessary, throwaway, if you will. It's not like there were any things that were mutually exclusive. There are enough spires that you could build all upgrades. You could hire anybody. It's just a matter of money, which isn't that hard to come by in this game. None of the people you could hire were mutually exclusive. It's not like you could hire one person but then couldn't hire another one. I could even hire disfavored, even though I was taking a crap out of the entire game. So I thought that part was throwaway. I thought the crafting was mostly throwaway. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of crafting in general, unless you make it really interesting and there's some kind of strategy or ingenuity involved. This was kind of lame, but whatever, I could mostly just ignore it. The combat was kind of meh. That's part of the reason why I turned it down to story mode and just enjoyed the story. Best decision I ever made, by the way. Because it allowed me to avoid any temptation to make my choices according to getting the reaction I would want out of people, so I could get whatever bonuses I get out of, fear or loyalty. Since I wasn't really concerned with that, I was able to make choices strictly on role playing, strictly on how the character I imagined would make the choices, which was great. I liked the story a lot. I thought the world was interesting. I liked a lot of the characters, not all the, some of the characters I thought were throwaway, but there were enough characters that I cared about in there that I was invested in the game. I really enjoyed the power fantasy of playing a character who basically held people's lives in the palm of her hand, and be able to make decisions that would affect the entire world, basically. That, you know, would affect how people lived, died, suffered, prospered. It's pretty great. So I enjoyed that a lot. Yeah, it was a pretty good game. I liked it. Hopefully there'll be expansions for it in the future. If there ever is an expansion, I might play it and do a let's play of it. I'll probably play through this game again, actually, at least one more time and make completely different choices. Maybe I'll even try to do a good playthrough. Maybe outside of disfavor, who knows? I probably won't record that as a let's play, but if they ever do release a full-fledged expansion, there's a good chance I'll do a let's play of that. But beyond that, let me thank you again for watching, and this has been Tyranny.